This is like I'm with my friend in class and we're just like, hey, you know what? We should just keep doing it.
Keep rolling, keep rolling.
I love it, Anna. Let's
Thank
go.
you. It's great talking to you, Harold. Thank you very much.
I'm having real fun. This is really funny.
Well,
Okay.
this would be my first question for this generic interview.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
you have an extensive track record playing roles for mystery, fiction, suspense, horror, and all this kind of shows. So what is it about From that drag you into it?
As much fun as I like to have, like when we're talking and stuff like that, I'm not a very funny guy. Like I'm a real dramatic guy. And so all of these drama things, they make sense to me. They make sense in like, you know, like, I think I'm always drawn to it. And I think people are always drawn to it because in a way we can get out of our own lives, but be reminded a bit of our lives by like watching people dramatically figure out like how I'm going to navigate this scary thing, but like also navigate what's happening with my wife or my son or with my best friend or with a lover or something like that, or some cross between those things. And that's what we deal with in our lives anyway. And I like looking at those questions all the time and trying to find different ways to answer them, because in my life, at least I've experienced, you know, things come at you in different ways all the time, in ways that you wouldn't have expected. And so sometimes when you see these films and the films that I've been attracted to, they're films about unexpected like phenomenon. And now you have to figure out how you're going to like still thrive and still live and still, you know, and not just crumble under some the pressure of some things. And so that's interesting for me. And that's how I wind up in all of these things.
Good. Well, we were recently talking about COVID and pandemic and all this stuff. So do you think that there is a kind of undercovered message in between the plot for the humanity and for nowadays reality?
Right. Well, I don't know if there's an undercover message as much as there is like an undercover exploration. Like it is like, let's just look at all of these different ways. And instead of being like, you know, for me during the pandemic, I got really judgmental about certain people. I was like, you know what? Later for those people. Like I didn't want to consider them. And what From kind of does a little bit is it makes you consider, like, instead of just writing people off as this or that, it makes you consider like that's a human being who has many different reasons for doing this or that. And so I think there's an undercover exploration more than a message.
Okay.
That's there.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the most challenging thing that Boyd will have to deal with? And you as an actor, how would you deal with your character's emotions? How would you prepare yourself for it?
So, you know, for that first season, and people will find out, like, you know, later in the season, Boyd carries around a heavy sadness. And so me, Harold, as an actor, I kind of had to carry that sadness around as well. And it was a number of years ago, but I lost my mom, and it's one of those sad things that never leaves. And so I found myself constantly singing songs to her in the car, replaying things, and just so that I could have that kind of sadness when I got on set. And so as an actor, it's really, really helpful. As a human being, it's really hard. It's like to be that kind of sad every day. And so you have to try to navigate like when you can put that stuff down and when you have to pick it up, and you know, and the times it's just, you know, you want to let it go, but it just filters into your mind. So that was the most difficult part for me. But Boyd really needed it. I don't think he would work without it, because he has to have that. You have to go like, I get it. I get why he's acting like that. That makes sense.
So do you think this series is like that kind of plot, that kind of series that leaves you with more questions than answers?
It can. So it certainly can. Like there are certain episodes that like make you go like, what's going on here? And the overall question of where are they and what's going on will be there, I don't know, for as long as it's going to be there. But it is a show that does give you answers to certain things. Like, it introduces this real separation between Boyd and his son Ellis. It introduces it in a really big way. But then you find out, it gives you the answer like, oh, that's why they can't. And they really can't talk. You know what I mean? They both have real perspectives of what had to be done in a really tricky moment. It had to be done. And they both walk away with a feeling that keeps them apart. But you get the answer to that. You don't, that doesn't linger forever. And there are lots of other things you get the answer to. But overall, you're still questioning, where are they? What are they doing? How do they get there? How do they get out? And that's actually kind of fun. So.
Okay. So my last question for this interview would
No,
be...
Anna, can't be the last question.
I
No,
know,
Anna, no.
I know. I would love to stay talking to you for hours, but we're running out of time.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So, what would be your message for the audience for not to miss from?
Oh, okay. So if you like horror, horror is there. If you like suspense, suspense is there. If you like great directing, we have great directors, great writing, great acting. So all in all, I would say, just if you have time, there are lots of shows to watch. There's so many shows to watch, but this one is really, really fun. And I learned it myself, because I didn't know this before. It's so much fun to watch with a group of people. We started hosting parties to watch from. I had no idea how much fun and how funny the show is, but because people have such different responses. So I would say, get a group of friends, have a bottle of wine, or not, you don't have to, it doesn't have, and sit down and watch it. Don't watch it all at once. Watch it like every week or every other week, or 2 or 3 at a time, but watch the whole thing, and do it with your friends, because it's a fun thing to share with your friends. And
you miss that you're in there, so that's the first reason.
Oh yeah, I'm in there. Yeah, you can watch me too.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Harold. It has been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks, Lisa.